We're on. Sick.
Hey.
All right, man. Chris, thanks for coming on to the Backbone Zone. This is the first, what are we talking? Remote. I'm pretty hyped
Yeah,
to get
Zoom,
it done. Yeah, the Zoom
high
call.
tech.
Yeah.
So,
But
no, it's
nah,
awesome. Thanks for having me.
thanks heaps for coming. Um, we've been talking back and forth, and I feel like every time we talk about stuff, it ends up being a pretty long conversation, and it's kind
Yeah,
of sick. It's very sick actually, because there's, I guess now, just like what we were just saying, there's heaps of people that are keen to just make BMX really, really sick. But I guess before I jump into all that, I kind of need to introduce you to people that may not know who you are, because I feel like you're behind the scenes of a lot of stuff, but a lot of people don't really know, potentially what you're about. So
yeah.
give me the intro.
That's
Give me
fine.
the
Okay.
spiel.
Yeah, I'm Chris. I grew up in Brizzy, so in Albany Creek. Started riding when I was 11. So yeah, just got into riding BMX with my neighbor in our cul-de-sac street, doing monos and endos, and learned to bunny hop and all that kind of fun stuff. And yeah, then actually got into riding skate parks because I went to a racetrack with absolutely no idea. My dad took me to a racetrack, and first thing that happened is we got yelled at by like some track official because we didn't have a full face or anything. Didn't have a just literally rode over the track,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't want to do this, Dad. This is shit. So as like an 11-year-old, we went to the skate park, and that was it. Never really looked back. So just kept riding, and yeah, and then just I don't know, probably realized when I was like 18, 19 that you dream of being a pro and all that, but it's like I wasn't actually that good. so so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna. And at the same time, I was getting hit up by like a local councillor to help organize some local skate park comps just at AC there, and so I was like, you know what, I'll do this. Like this is fun. And after a couple of comps I organized for them, I was like, this is actually sick. Like let's do more. Like what can we do? And so I kind of got some grants and started the King of Dirt, and then started the core series, and then started sort of snowballed from there. Just worked with BMX Australia. I worked over in London at the 2012 Olympics.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah, I worked on the BMX race over there, so
No
that was
way.
pretty fun. Yeah,
Dude,
I
that's
was like
sick.
standing on the finish line at that Olympics. Like as the men's and women's races finished, I was not even 10 feet away from the finish line. So
Far
yeah, it
out.
was pretty wild experience. Like working for a huge organization like the Olympics and overseas in London, all that was cool. But yeah, then come back. So that was 2012, and then come back, and in 2014, probably the thing I do most now is I bought Rampfest. So Rampfest was owned by Fist Handwear at the time. I think most people are probably familiar with those guys.
I didn't
Um,
know that it was owned by Fist.
yeah,
That's pretty
they
interesting.
they bought it off the original owner Brett.
Okay.
Um, and then a couple of years later, I was chatting to him about doing a contest there actually, and it sort of came up in conversation, and yeah, a bunch of things rolled into place, and I bought it at the time. I bought it with my good friend up here, Steve, who ran Right On at the time. So we bought it together, ran it together for about 2 years, and then he stepped out of the business, stepped out Right On to do some other stuff, and yeah, so I've been running it solo since probably 20 end of 2015 now. So
Wow.
yeah, so
Dude,
I've been running since then, and
that's sick.
yeah, been a bunch.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were so involved. Well, I did know that you were involved with running like the dirt. I can't remember what they were called, the King of Dirts or whatever in
Yeah,
Queensland. But
yeah, I
um,
started them.
yeah,
So
that's cool that you like were able to do some of the stuff like the Olympic thing in London. That's crazy.
yeah,
That's
that was
really cool.
wild. That was a really interesting experience. Like just the scale of the Olympics is when you're in it too. It's like it's just crazy. Like the resources, and yeah, it was a really awesome experience.
Yeah,
So
that's sick, man. That's really cool. I guess we, like we've been talking quite a bit for a while. I've been trying to glean information off you because I feel like you're the dude that knows the most about the inner workings of BMX in Australia.
yeah,
You, I feel like you don't just own the skate park. Like you're one of the dudes that is doing a lot of stuff for the scene behind the scenes, and we've kind of been talking back and forth about trying to grow BMX, and one of the things that we talk about a lot is Oz cycling,
yeah,
and I've been doing the whole BMX coaching thing and trying to understand how that can develop into something where BMX is growing. And then we speak, and it turns out you might be getting, or you have got the job.
Yeah, I've got a gig with Oz Cycling. So for about 4 months ago now, I think a few people saw it advertised. They advertised for probably their first freestyle specific role that they've ever actually advertised for as Oz Cycling. And it was a development and pathways coach, I think is the official title. So yeah, I applied for that along with probably a bunch of other people, and I think I was pretty.
Yeah, I applied for
I don't
it.
know. Sorry.
No, I'm glad you got it, man. You're way more, you're way more suited
Yeah,
for the
I
role.
sort of pitched. I don't know. I guess I applied for it, and I pitched my own vision for the role. Like I didn't just apply for the role as it was kind of written, I guess, which is
Yeah.
some people might think that's a crazy move when you're applying for a job, but I don't know. I just hadn't. I had my own ideas. Like I really loved the goal of the role. Like the goal that Oz Cycling wants to achieve is obviously getting more support around grassroots BMX. Like it's all about getting more people riding bikes. So we have more people, staying in the sport, getting stoked on the sport, and whether they go into a competition pathway and hopefully, follow in the footsteps of Logan and Brandon and win world championships and Olympics, or they just have an awesome time in the sport and they become an Oz Cycling member and they just build scenes and dig trails or do whatever. Like ride BMX. It's the more people we get into the sport and the more opportunities we give them, that was all really inspiring to me. And just a lot of it's as well about, it's all cycling, right? We want to win Olympic golds. That's, it's an Olympic sport now.
Yeah.
We want to win medals. And with the home Olympics coming up in 10 years time, that's a pretty big goal. So yeah, one of the really big goals of the role is to do well at the Brisbane Olympics, which is pretty exciting to me as well, because I'm from Brazil, and having Olympics, like having worked at one in 2012 and having one at home in 2032 is going to be pretty sick. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, pretty excited about all that. Actually, it's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's, I did a podcast about this last week, just about popularity of BMX. And for me, thinking about BMX in that way now where, the aim for everyone isn't to win gold medals, but like the aim, well, not the aim, but I think that BMX needs to grow past that hardcore, because I always say it now is like, I was inspired by probably, like watching X Games or something like that, like something that's totally not hardcore, but then I've turned out the way I've turned out. And I'm sure that many other riders have done the exact same thing. So I think all that really matters in my eyes is that the right people are behind it. So I was actually really psyched when we had that convo, and you said that you'd, pretty much got the role. And I was like, that's sick, because, the fact that you're a BMXer, you've been trying to do all this stuff for a long time is important. Yeah. So what's the plan?
Yeah, I'm only just sort of getting started. I had my first day the other day, so it's
right.
not a whole detailed plan yet. Yeah, it's been a bit of a work in progress, but like, the main focus for me, I guess, is going to be on. Well, firstly, there's a bunch of programs that we're running in Queensland with the Queensland Academy of Sport. So Queensland Academy of Sports is right behind this sort of role and the whole development. Obviously, Queensland, Brisbane Olympics, they're right in on it. So we're doing a bunch of sort of talent ID programs, essentially. Like, it's probably not that crazy different to what other more mainstream sports do, in that, trying to identify kids who are good at the sport and then trying to give them the opportunities and the tools they need to stay in it, get better at it, and then eventually, hopefully, like, you finally work with kids. A lot of kids, you might see this, like if they're good at freestyle BMX, they're probably good at other sports as well. Like they might be good at
for sure.
soccer, or I don't know, BMX racing, mountain biking, whatever. It's like, you sort of want to make sure you try and keep these kids psyched on the sport and keep them in it. And, I mean, I think you and I are about the same age, and we've probably been riding like 20 years or something. It's like, and you never really stop, which is sort of the thing I think sells BMX super well, is like, you never have to retire. You know what I mean? Like you could get to the top of footy and then you retire, and you don't, now you just watch, or we don't ever have to do that, which is sick. Like we just keep riding and having fun. So
that's definitely a good point. Like it's unique in that way. Like You're exactly right. There's so many people that play other sports that then all of a sudden they're retired from that sport, and it's like, man,
Yeah,
you don't have to do that with BMX at all.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's yeah, the whole growing BMX thing. It's like really become way more of a focus, I guess, of mine, and then finding out, we've sort of been following that, going for that same journey. Like, have you seen things in the past that you feel has helped BMX to be more established? Like, obviously, I just feel like Queensland seems to be ahead of the game in terms of,
yeah, I
you
don't
know,
know. Like I think BMX is just a sport that's built around scenes. Like it's
yeah,
so you look at whenever there's a good rider or good, like there's always a history of good riders. Like, you could look at it in Canberra, obviously, Cam White won a heap of stuff, but Cam White came up with like Russell Brindley and
yeah,
all those dudes. Like there was a scene around that. It's not like one dude just pops up in isolation. And then you look at Queensland, I mean, you could go way back in Brizzy. Like obviously now we've got Logan Martin. And now they've got like the hot box training group and that. But Logan grew up riding with Kyle Baldock, who grew up riding with Ryan Gutler, who rode with Bowen and Dilsey and all those dudes
yeah,
around the same
yeah,
time. And like it's just this generational thing that just passes on. And even in Melbourne, like we saw it at Rampfest, like a bunch of dudes when Rampfest first opened, a bunch of dudes came through at once, like Minnie, Matt White. I'm sure I'm forgetting people off the top
oh,
of my
for
head,
sure, yeah,
but like there's those clusters, and I think it's just a really scene driven sport. So whenever there's a good scene of people, and I mean, it's like you're trying to learn a trick, and it's so much easier if your mates there shoving you along to do it as well.
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
and I
definitely
think it's
true.
kind of cool. Like now we're starting to get these hybrid riders. Like I look at Josh Dove ride, and I think he's this wild hybrid of like a Jason Watts and a Boyd Hilda who he grew up riding with,
Yeah,
and he's phenomenal. And
hmm,
now he's riding more with like Logan and Brandon and those dudes as well. So it's like, man, imagine if you do a 3-1 tape, 1 foot taves like Josh Dove and do a double backy. Like
yeah, I know.
it's gonna blow minds. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, yeah, it is starting to get like that with riding. Like, even watching, like Boyd has got like a really nice style, and then you watch him ride that Nitro games, and he does quadruple truck driver and things like that. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
such a, yeah. We're definitely getting to that era where it's, you can have really
And
good
he
style
double
and
flip,
do good tricks. Yeah, yeah, and
he double
I
flipped
saw
an
that.
exit. Like he double flipped
Far
it.
out.
But
That's
I always
gnarly.
forget, like, yeah, Boyd can do stuff like that because he's such a chill dude. He
Yeah,
just
yeah,
drop these absolute hammer tricks. Like I swear, every time he rides a contest, he pulls out a flip whip like it's nothing.
yeah. Far out. Yeah, it's sick, man. I
uh,
yeah, I definitely can't. I don't know if it's just the foam pit thing or what it is, but I feel like for me now, it's like I'm at this stage where I want to learn tricks. I'm about to turn 36 in like a couple of weeks, but it's
yeah, it's all right. I
I
turned 35 like 2 months ago. It's fine.
yeah, yeah. You're still wanting to learn tricks after
Yeah,
all these
yeah,
years, but I just can't bring myself to just huck something anymore. I really
yeah,
feel like that process of the foam pit resi,
yeah,
um, ramp thing is way better, way
yeah.
better.
It's definitely safer, but also like I don't know. I think, and you've probably seen this with coaching, right? Because obviously you do a lot of coaching that doesn't have a foam pit, like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Majority.
yeah, and like when I do coaching as well, I don't I don't want to use a foam pit almost ever. Like to me, a
Yeah.
foam pit is there for you know flips, sure, like it makes flips 100% safer than
Totally.
just the old school way.
Yeah.
Um, but apart from that, like, and until you get to those really really big tricks where it's like holy shit, I need so much speed now that if I trying a 7 triple bar, like if I miss this catch, it's all over.
Yeah.
Until you get to that kind of level, I think just about everything else up to a backflip like can be learned, and probably should be learned just fly out or to a
Yeah.
grasslander or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think that learning process is super important. Like I think, and one of the things I kind of want to make sure, well, I try and do this with Ramfest coaching, because obviously we've got a foam pit, and so many kids are like, oh, I just want to jump into the foam pit, like I want to learn flips, I want to do this. It's like dial it back, start with the basics, and make sure you can actually land and jump
Yeah.
and ride properly. Like, because I think you can sort of see it in kids. You can see it in kids who have ridden too much foam pit and not enough of everything else.
Yeah.
You can 100% see it, right? Like there's,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Totally. Yeah. That fundamental riding is just paramount. Like
yeah,
because that's exactly. If you look at Josh Dove, he has to have learnt some of the tricks that he's done in a foam pit, but like
yeah,
he's so sound with the fundamentals of jumping and stuff like that that's where I feel like those tricks. I was actually saying it to one of the girls that I was coaching just a couple of days ago because we went up to Slam Factory, and it was like if you just learnt everything fundamentally really sound, you could air, you could jump everything, pretty easily. Then once you learn that bike control of being in the air and being able to point your front wheel down where you need to go to a foam pit, you've learned like tricks in a month. Like you'll learn all the tricks,
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I remember even Cam White saying years ago, like you talk about progression of learning. It's like, it took him a year to learn a tail whip. It took him 6 months to learn a double tail. And it took him like 2 weeks to learn a triple or something like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
but like once and I think you get to a skill level, and you see it with some of the guys that, like Logan is an absolute freak. Logan's incredible.
Yeah.
The, the way he progresses and learns stuff, he's so dialed at those fundamentals, like doing a bar spin in something, doesn't almost doesn't need a foam pit. It looks like he doesn't. He's just so dialed at it. Just like, I'll just push the bike out. Oh, yeah, I can push the bike out, and I know I can do a
Yeah.
bar spin. Like, it's just that automatic that it just works.
Yeah.
And so I think you get those basics so dialed, and we talk about not having foam pits. The other part of that you need to learn is you need to actually learn how to crash or how to bail or how to correct yourself. Like, I almost think you need that. I don't know. You need that panic feeling of, oh shit, I'm about to crash. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And you just, I put my foot down, or I just throw the bike that way and I get off. Like,
Yeah.
if you never have to do that because you've learned every basic trick, like you've learned bar spins in a foam pit, so you've never had to eject or bail or learn 360s in a foam pit.
For sure.
When that actually happens, like the first time you might need to bail a 360s over a 30-foot jump. That's not good.
No,
That's not a good idea.
that's not good.
No one wants
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Well, you actually do see that sometimes in those contests where the riders, like, what's that? Is it called the Toyota Triple Challenge or something like
Triple
that? It's
challenge, yeah.
you can kind of see where someone lands the jump before and they do their entire trick, catch pedals, and they land on the wrong side of the landing, like
yeah,
like they're fully face plant the wrong side of the
yeah.
landing. It's like,
Oh
man,
man,
how do you not know where you are in space to just think, oh, I don't have the speed to jump this jump,
yeah.
let alone try and do like a cash roll or something, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think that's, the foam pit thing, like kind of shortcuts that. I think it shortcuts some of those hard learning processes. Like, it gets the kid, that kid wants to go down there and it's like, oh, I saw Logan do the front bike flip. I want to learn that. It's like, okay, Logan learned that after years of doing everything else.
for
Like,
sure.
you don't get to shortcut to that. Like, you gotta do it the hard way.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You got to land a deck manual before you can do a tail whip.
yeah, 100%. Oh my god, it's amazing how many kids can't do deck manuals,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
one toe whips.
yeah,
That's probably a great one.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
definitely the world we live in. I
Yeah.
want to I do want to talk a little bit more about the whole Oz cycling thing, or just I guess growth of BMX in general in Australia.
Yep.
And what you see the road for just what BMX is going to look like in 10 years time. Like let's just say that in 10 years time we've just got this stacked crew of riders that are going to the Olympics, and it's like, man, Australia's going to pitch a shutout. Like they're just going to bring home gold with, we're going to first, second, third. Like how is it that we get there, and then how is it that that's going to benefit Australian BMX as a whole?
It's a good question. I mean, I reckon, if Lupos hadn't bloody hurt his knee, I reckon we would have gone 1-2 at the last Olympics. So that would have been a pretty good start.
For sure,
But
yeah.
I don't know what order either. I wouldn't have backed an order.
Yeah.
I just gone 1-2, bet the house on 1-2, and not pick a winner.
For sure.
But 10 years, like I think some things will look different. Like, I'd like to think that the contest scene would look a little bit more organized than it currently is, for sure. Like, And but there's so much rad stuff in BMX now. I hope none of that goes away. Like, I'd like to think we're still having act jams and still dropping videos and doing, dudes are still doing road trips, and like Fast and Loose are still doing all their thing. And
Yeah.
uh, that's probably the biggest. I don't want too much. I don't want it to change drastically. I'd like to see just a bit more organization come into those parts of it. Like, we were chatting before about, one of the things I think would help the development of these kids coming into the sport. So it's getting all this notice at the moment. Like, kids are seeing the Olympics, and like we're talking about, like I remember reading a magazine and reading about the X Games. Like, that
Yeah.
was sick.
Yeah.
You read about Dave Miro, I want to do that. So kids are seeing that at the Olympics now, which is a bigger platform than any magazine or any X Games has ever had. And they're going, oh, mum, dad, I want to be like Logan Martin, like, so cool. So now that parent is going to make some decisions about their kid's sport. And if they're not from BMX, like, that's sick for the industry, because that's someone coming in and they're going to buy a bike. They're going to buy it from Back Bone, Rampfest, or they might buy a Colony or whatever. They're going to buy a bike from somewhere.
For
Then they're
sure.
going to go to a skate park. They're going to want to learn. I think the sport, to keep people like that in it, is going to need a little bit more. Like, they need somewhere to go. It sort of needs hey, well, because you think about what you compare it to. You compare it to soccer or footy or whatever. It's like, I go down to the local footy club and I can see exactly what I have to do from under sevens to the NRL or whatever. Like, I play these grades, I make this rep team, I blah 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 blah, get my coaching steps all the way up. And I feel like at the moment there's this huge gap. Like, how do you go from that grommet, hey Tyson, teach me 360s, to win an Olympics? There's
Yeah.
just this huge unknown in between. Like, what do I do to get there? Like, how do I get there? Um, so I'd just like to see some more organization in the contest scene, for sure. Like, just having, state championships, having national championships, like having a regular structure, having, some consistent judging. It's always a challenge, which is getting way better. Like, we've got the UCI judging stuff, and that's all going real well now.
Yeah.
Um, I just think, yeah, a bit more organization around that, and I think that'll just create opportunities. And you know, I can already hear, like, there's plenty of people out there going, oh, contests aren't what BMX is about. No, like, it's totally not. If you don't want to ride contests, like, that's sick. Don't ride contests. It's like,
Yeah. For
um,
sure. Yeah,
that's my
that's
vibe.
you're exactly right, man. Like I don't have any interest in riding contests. I like watching them, fine, but uh, I think that if there actually was more contests, it would probably break down the barrier of that competition and like lifestyle rider, because
Yeah,
if there's only ever, let's just say, for example, you're hosting the nationals at Rampfest next month,
yep,
and I'll be there for that, which will be really sick to come down and watch.
yeah.
It'll be the first time that I've done it or come to
There
nationals.
is actually a masters contest too.
Oh,
Um,
right, yeah.
yeah, yeah, we
Late
have it
late
over
entry.
30.
I've been
Yeah,
practicing my flares, mate. I'm coming for
dude. Oh,
it.
no. We
Oh,
actually, that was one of the most, like, I hadn't ridden a contest in years, and I rode that at Rampfest last year, and it was the most fun I've had in years. Like,
that's
it was
sick.
just seven or eight of us, like, in riding the over 30s, just having a laugh and just having a great time. Like,
That's
and
so
it
good.
was it was sort of that vibe. Like, it was semi-serious, like, sort of like, oh shit, we're actually planning runs here. Like, all right,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
let's try and put this together. But it was just so much fun. It was good.
That's
So,
awesome, man. That's really cool.
um,
Yeah, but like the nationals are going to be at Ramfest next month. I think
yeah,
that the more people that get into it, the more broad a spectrum of people that you would see, come. I think.
yeah, absolutely.
We and if you were to put on more contests, as in you being just the BMX scene at
Yeah,
large, then I mean we see it when we do it in Canberra for like through the shop. We put on a series like we got dudes that ride the trails enter the comp because it's more like a way to have fun with your mates. Whereas
yeah,
if you're gonna do if you only have like one contest a year, then it's probably going to be more the people that are more in that realm of like
yeah.
wanting to
It's
get to the Olympics
all you
or
want to do, right? Yeah,
yeah,
which,
exactly, yeah,
yeah. And I always say about BMX. Like I look at surfing, and it's, surfing's got. I mean, surfing's in the Olympics as well now, and it's got really serious contest surfers who do the world tour, and we all know Kelly Slater. Like it's got your legendary contest surfers, and then it's got your big wave surfers, and then it's got dudes who just film amazing videos and explore, like hike through the jungle to find like some uninterrupted wave wherever. It's just
Yeah.
got this huge variation of what makes a surfer. And you've got, the dude who's been surfing since he was 10 and is now 70, going down the Gold Coast and just surfing every day or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like,
for sure.
I see BMX as that. Like you can do whatever you want. And the contests are great because they have this huge platform for our sport lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. Like it's this huge platform for BMX to be seen by heaps of people.
Yeah.
Um, and that just is great for the whole industry, right? Like, if more kids are riding bikes, that means we're all selling more bikes. It means more kids are coming to the skate park. It means more kids are doing coaching. It means more kids are just getting stoked on BMX, which is, I think that's just sick. So,
Exactly, man. Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, it's just important. Like the more that those things happen, the more likely that you're going to get just a broader spectrum. And again, like the hardcore riders, like look at what exactly the perfect example is the Nitro thing that just went on the weekend. Like Chris James was at Act Jam, Boyd Hilda was at Act Jam.
yeah,
The guys. I know that there was a few of the dudes that are the Olympic dudes that wanted to come that it just couldn't work out schedule wise. So it's not like, I think the more that these barriers break down between like hardcore and competitive, so Logan came to Act Jam back in 2017, for example.
yeah. I was there for that one. That was
Oh
sick.
yeah, well okay, so and everyone was frothing him. I think it
Yeah,
was just more that like there's this weird from afar, it's a bit judged on the type of riding that he shows through competition. But then you see him ride Act Jam, and it's like, oh shit, dude is literally the best rider in the whole world. Like, I've
yeah.
never seen
Like,
anyone go so high at Western, but then also do a triple tail whip over the spine. Like
yeah.
there's
And they can all do stuff like that. I remember watching Logan at that Act Jam jump through the trails, and I can't remember if it was like it must have been first or second run or something. He was getting a speed check off someone, and I swear on his speed check run, he like three down whipped the last jump,
oh my
and everyone
god,
was like, "What the hell? Like, how do you do that?" He's like,
yeah,
oh, it's just a jump, right? Like it's the same. It's like
far
it's
out.
that's the level. Like that's where he's at, and we're all just here to watch.
Yeah,
So,
totally, man. Yeah,
and
he's a beast.
so good. So,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
think it's cool that, like, if I watched on Instagram like the hotbox sessions and stuff, like dudes like Watsy and Dovey and Boyd have all been riding there, like, you know, which is sick. Like it's this cool melting pot of riders. Like it's not, you know, and you see Logan's style has evolved so much over the years. Like he does some tricks that are, no one can deny. Just crazy cool to look at.
yeah.
Like his sort of invert flip Tabes thing that he does. He doesn't do it that often in contests, but it's one of the coolest looking things out there.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I like he does that one hand, one footer like barrel rolly flip
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
That's one of my
yeah,
favorites that I've seen in a hot second. That's for sure.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
sick.
it's I think with having those dudes as well, again to just sort of bring my point home is that it's like those type of riders and the dudes like Josh Dove and Boyd and whatnot, like, and Chris James even, how the hardcore riders know how good they are. And
Yeah,
then so say the people that went to Nitro because I don't even know, like the common person, like that just likes to go
yeah,
to these types of things, like they go there and they might be just fully frothing like
yeah,
Chris James's style or Boyd Hilda's style, and then they go and watch one of their videos and then they realize that there's more to it than just the Nitro games, and then all of a sudden, you freaking got another kid that is influenced in a way that could make BMX sick, and you never know how good they're going to be to contribute to their scene.
100%.
You know?
Like I do a lot of work with Pete at the Blue Groove.
Yep.
Um, and we do a bunch of like we do learn to ride programs, like absolute beginner of BMX, right? Like kids turn up on training wheels, and
Wow,
like it's
that's
some
cool.
most stoke you can get out of doing anything is teaching a kid to ride a bike. Like the amount of times you see kids and parents in tears doing it afterwards because they've just ridden across, pedaled for the first time,
Oh,
and
really?
it's sick, man. It's a really
That's
cool thing.
awesome,
Like,
man.
learn to ride coaching is good fun, but we were talking about it the other day, saying like, man, I wonder if like it's a long way away. We're teaching kids who are like under 10 years old. It's like, you wonder, have we taught like the next Logan Martin to ride? Like, that'd
Yeah.
be like, is one of these kids gonna go that far? Or is it the next Jason Watts or Boyd Hilder or Josh Dove or whoever? Like, are we taught someone to ride who's gonna, I don't know, it's such a cool thought to have. Like, I mean, maybe we haven't, maybe they're just not gonna ride down the street. Who cares? But yeah, it's kind of cool that you can be involved in something like that. So,
Totally, man. Yeah, I totally agree.
and
It's yeah, it's sick. That next gen thing I think is super important, and again, like with the popularity of BMX, that's where it's headed. Um, you've owned Rampfest for since 2015, right?
2014, yeah, so 9 years.
2014. Yeah, wow.
9 years in
Yeah,
January. Yeah.
that's a beast. That's sick, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks. Kind of
Um,
crazy.
I have always seen you running different things at Rampfest, but you took on the national championships.
Yeah.
When did you originally bring that to Rampfest, and how did that even come about? Like, how did?
Well, that kind of came about when I think the Olympic thing got announced in sort of early 2018 or late 2017, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
Um, and sort of when that got announced, sort of probably all around the world, like every sporting body or national sporting body that is involved with bike riding started scrambling, going like, holy shit, like this BMX things in the Olympics, like what do we do? And I'm sure Australia was no different. And it's sort of, I was always sort of trying to get in the ear of BMX Australia at the time, and then Cycling Australia, which is now Oz Cycling, and to try and get them doing more in BMX, like you guys have been doing with Fact as well. We both hit our head against that BMX Australia brick wall at times, but we got there.
yeah.
But yeah, it came out of all that. It's like, oh well, it's in the Olympics now. Like we need a national championship. Like we need an official national championship. Where are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? Blah blah blah. Who's going to fund it? I just kind of said, look, I've been yelling at you guys to do this for years. Like I'll put my money where my mouth is. Like I'll make it happen. Let's do it at Rampfest. So we started it in 2018. We did the first one. Brandon Lupos won it. It was actually a sick contest. Because Jason Watts came second. So it's like talk
That's
about
right. I remember that.
contrasting styles, right? Like
Mm,
yeah, it was a wild contest, and because Lupos actually won it with his second run. So like, I think, yeah, Jason, I can't remember which way, but Jason was in the lead after Lupos's first run, so he had to go out and step it up, and he did. And yeah, it was a sick contest,
that is sick.
So yeah,
And
and it's
again,
we had this.
it's so funny that like we're talking about hardcore riders and competition riders, and Lupos is as hardcore a BMX as it gets. But just
Yeah,
for the average BMXer out there, like you obviously see him in feast contests, and you think of him
yeah,
as that competitive style rider. But Jason Jason entered the nationals, and he came second. It's
yeah,
pretty classic. So
and oh yeah, we should give a big shout out at this point to Jason Watts. I know he's super helpful at your backbone at the ACT Jam as well. But yeah,
yeah,
I got to
yeah,
give him a bigger shout out at Ramfest. I mean, he's he's put man as much into that place as anyone, including me. Like he's an absolute weapon. He comes down, lives in his bus in the car park, builds ramps. Just when he was going down there, when I was like first owned it, he'd just be down there and call me up out of the car park and be like, Chris, I've got this idea. It's gonna make the park better. Just trust me. I'm gonna build a ramp. I'm like, okay, man, whatever.
no
Build
way.
a ramp. And
That's
it always
sick.
worked. It always made the park better. But yeah, he's just a dude in BMX who just wants to make stuff better as well, like all the time. And he just gets in and he's not scared of just getting in and doing it. So yeah, give a shout out to Jason Watts. Just
Yeah, for sure, man. He's
ripping in.
yeah. It's actually really sick to see him be like that. You know, he's obviously been a younger dude. When I met him, he was celebrating his 21st birthday at Act Jam. You know, like that was,
Yeah, that would have been
and
wild.
you know, like, and he was frothing. But like
Yeah.
to see where he's gone and stuff like that with the ramp building, it's sick. And he's always talking about Rampfest and you know, helping out and stuff like that. So it's really cool to hear. But
Uh, he, he's in it, man. He loves it. It's awesome.
yeah, yeah,
Rampfest wouldn't be what it is now without him. That's for absolute sure. So
yeah, sure.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so the Nationals 2018, he ended up coming
yeah,
second.
yeah. He can't say Lupos pipped him. Yeah, it's wild. But you know, you contrasting styles. You got Brandon doing like double flips, like wearing pads, and you got Jason Watts doing three tapes transfers with like a party shirt and no pads inside.
Yeah,
Um, like
board shorts.
yeah, like
Yeah,
legit a pair of shorts and a party shirt. Like
yeah,
loved it. So it was sick. It was a really cool first nationals, and then so that was 2018. Then the nationals was running Queensland for a couple of years because yeah, I think one of those we are in lockdown, so we couldn't do it in Victoria because
yeah, for
Victoria
sure.
down. But then it came back. We hosted again in 2021, and that was a pretty heavy contest, like because that was the lead into the Olympics. So yeah, Logan won that one, and just the runs are just wild. Like
Yeah.
you can actually watch that one back on you can't. I think it's one of the first ones you can watch back on YouTube, but
Oh,
there's
cool.
highlights. It's mental. Like just 1080s and yeah, it's a
Yeah.
packed run. There's hammers, but yeah, but that was sick. But that was cool because that was where we brought in the Masters comp, which I was saying before, which is over 30s. Again, just aimed at like, hey, like get in and have a bit of fun. Like so
Yeah.
Knox Dave won that. So
Oh man,
yeah,
makes
yeah. There's a
sense.
name. But yeah,
Yeah.
dude, he's still so good.
Yeah.
So
That's
should
cool.
get him back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're hosting it again this year. It's on the 19th and 20th of November. And entries are open. I'll give that quick shout out to everyone. Like sign up, it's gonna be fun. So there's
Yeah.
categories of under sevens, under 11s, under 13s, under 15s, and then there's an open amateur category, and then pro. So
Yep.
pro is pro. You've got to be over 15. For the open amateur, like you can bump up from the lower age divisions. Like if you're 13 and you're a weapon, right amateur, don't ride under 13s and
Yeah.
sandbag.
Sure. Yep.
And then of course the masters over 30s and every category's men's and women's. So there's separate
Oh, that's
divisions all
cool.
through. Yeah, yeah. So
That's
every
awesome.
every age group has boys and girls. So yeah, in every category, we give out the medals and you get the title of national champ if you win it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah,
so
it's
it's
a
pretty
special. It's
cool.
definitely a special thing to be able to do that. Like if you under 11 national champion, like that's
Yeah, you get
pretty
a
special
jersey as
thing.
well. Like
Oh,
if
really?
you win, yeah, you get a jersey. You get the
Wow.
gold national champ jersey. So
That's sick.
yeah, kind of cool. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'm excited to come down for it. I think it's again like I've never really seen myself as someone who. No, I'll rephrase that because I feel like I enjoy watching competitive BMX riding. Like, do I do it? No, but I
Yeah,
enjoy watching it. You know, and I think
yeah,
that a lot of people probably just a little bit worried and just criticize from afar. And if they went down, you know, like you said, Jason was there and he was
yeah,
shredding and all his mates and all of the dudes that ride it. Like I don't know, like I know that Quinny dude a little bit and
yeah,
Alec,
yeah.
yeah,
Alec, yeah, Alec,
just from them coming to Act Jam and obviously Lupos.
yeah.
All those dudes are just sick dudes. They just happen to be able to do freaking every trick ever. So
Crazy tricks, yeah.
yeah,
And of course, I mean, I think holding it at Ramfest, I mean, it's judged the way it's judged is on the whole UCI criteria, which is it's not really different to any BMX contest we've ever judged. It's like difficulty, execution, speed, style, height, don't crash,
mm,
use of the course. Like it's all pretty standard sort of stuff. And but a course like Ramfest course compared to the Feast courses, it's so tight, like it's so close together. Like Jason's runs, like he doesn't pedal ever. Like he just drops in and that's
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Um, and then, even Logan was saying after the last one, like compared to the feast courses, you get so many more hits in at Rampfest because it's all so close together. Like you land in something, you straight into something, you straight into something else. Like, um, so it's actually kind of hard as well, like compared to the feast comps where there's no room for error. Like if you land the box a little squirrely, you don't have time to crank, reset, set for the quarter pipe. You're already at the quarter pipe.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah, you've got to kind of, yeah, it really favors a whole variety of riding. Like obviously Logan won the last one, Brandon's won one, like Jason's right up there,
Yeah,
Jake Warwick's up there as well. Like
for sure.
it really mixes up the styles of riding that you can use as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would hate to be a judge at any of those contests. So, yeah, I watched them judge it. And I'm just like, man, I don't want that job
Yeah.
anymore at all. That's
Yeah, it
yeah,
would be interesting to see who makes it out there because I like you say, like if once people maybe if they hear this and they're like, oh, far out, I like riding, bowl and flowy type riding, and maybe if I go to this ramp fest thing, I might have my
yeah.
preconceptions might be blown, and all of a sudden I'm just doing a good run that would be
And,
like a
and
Vans Pro Cup type run, and then all of a
totally.
sudden,
Well, the contest structure, like, so it's run on the UCI rules. So, well, for all the junior divisions, so all the age groups, like including the masters, it's just a straight final basically. Like you get
okay,
two runs, your best run counts, and that's just because we don't have enough time and the schedule to run qualies for every division. So
yeah,
all those divisions are basically a straight final. But amateur and pro both have the UCI style qualifying final, and qualifying is both runs count. So
oh
this is
wow,
the thing that we sort of, you have to, yeah, the UCI changed that. Like they started doing that at FEAS a few years ago, which was interesting because I've always come from, the context of one run counts. But yeah, I think they do it in qualifying. Both runs count in qualifying. So you just got to drill that into everyone who's riding. It's like qualifying, just do not put a foot down. Don't crash, don't put a foot down. Like dial your run back, make sure you land both because you can absolutely guarantee that I don't know, maybe not half, but a solid 30% of the field is gonna drop a foot. And the second they do that, like the judging's pretty rigid on like if you had a clean run, maybe your run was a 90 and my run would only be a 75, but you dropped a foot and I didn't, yeah,
yeah, sure, huh?
that'll make a difference. So
I didn't know anything about the UCI judging criteria, so that's cool to know.
it's pretty in depth, and it's just trying to make judging consistent. I mean,
Yeah,
if you watch contests for a while, like you watch contests and you go, the hell was that? Like, how did that dude beat that dude, or how did that dude not win that? And
mm.
yeah, it's sort of a bit more level now, which is cool.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so we'll be having it's actually a 2 day event. So we're having a 2 day event, and we're trying to make it. I'm trying to put a bit more behind it, so it's not just the park contest and that's all. Like we're gonna do like a whole weekend thing. So we got Down Underground coming over and doing the Flatland contest
oh sick,
there as
cool,
well. So that'll
yeah,
be on the Saturday. So it's the 19th, 20th of November, and the Saturday night we're having the Down Underground contest as well.
yeah.
So we'll get the Flatland dudes in, which will be wild. Like I love watching Flatland because it just blows my mind of
Yeah,
what can you do on it? How do you do that?
for
I have
sure.
no
Yeah,
ideas
yeah.
for it. I couldn't name a single Flatland trick, and
No.
I watch it and my jaw drops every time. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, so we're bringing that in, and then a Saturday night. So after that, we've got one of the local bars in near Rampfest coming down to do a bar there as well. So
Oh shit.
MX's giddy up. There's a bar. Get on board.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll all have a beer and hang out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Saturday night we're just gonna do a bit of a jam, and we've got like a rail set up outside and stuff now, and we've obviously got the bowl and that. So we're gonna try and get some music down there, and yeah, the bar a bit of a jam on Saturday night, and then tee up for the finals on Sunday. So
Yeah. Man,
yeah,
that's exciting, man. I'm excited to come to an event rather than hold
yeah,
one.
yeah. Man, I was so excited. I wanted to go to Act Jam. I just for that exact reason. It's like I want
Yeah,
to go.
yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Not run
Yeah,
it.
for sure. No,
But
that's cool, man. I'm definitely looking forward to the nationals. I think it's like I said, it should be something that a lot of people come to, and then again, it's just going to create more of a scene. Like
yeah,
you never know who's a good person or not a good person in BMX, and then what they're
Yeah.
into outside of the 1 minute that they do all their hardest tricks.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's it. It's just so cool to like sit and chat with everyone as well. Like you talk after it, and yeah, it's
for
super.
sure.
I'm a BMX nerd around all that
Oh
kind of stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah. Same goes,
chat with
man.
them,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you have dudes who plan a run out, and then there's guys that just drop in and kind of wing it, and
yeah,
everything else in between. So
yeah.
and and even like just getting the kids in it, like the kids get excited about it, and I actually can't wait to see Sarah Nicky ride the pro ladies. I think she'll be riding the pro ladies this time.
That's
So
right. She is. Yeah,
yeah, I'm pumped about that. I love watching Sarah ride.
yeah.
So
She's good. She's killing it. Like it's been interesting, I guess for people that don't know, like, a coach Sarah, and she's so at that next level of being able to do the basics, like what we were talking about before. Fundamentally, I feel like she rides really, really well, and she's
yeah,
she's putting a little bit of pressure on herself to get to that next level of trickery, but
uh,
she's only freaking 15 years old, and she can
yeah,
air
yeah,
like
yeah. That'll come.
ridiculous.
Like
Yeah, 100%.
her bike skills are just so good for her age, and yeah, the
Yeah,
tricks will come. They'll turn
tricks
up.
will come
So
easy. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
but
So yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, yeah, getting them all down there for nationals will be sick, and like
Yeah,
hopefully, what we were just saying, Logan went to Act Jam and killed it and had a great time. Everyone's like, holy shit, like this is super cool. Like it'd be rad to see more dudes who don't ride normal contests, or like the feast contest rather, and like come to the nationals and ride a park like Rampfest and go, oh wow, this is actually, this is super cool. Like that dude didn't do a tail whip, but he did tabo eight
yeah,
feet higher than everybody else.
yeah, for
Like,
sure. Yeah, I agree,
um,
man. Yeah, I
it'd be cool
mean,
to just break
riding
down
your
some of
bike.
the barriers in it.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's the go. Like whatever type of riding you do, as long as you're a good person, you know
Yeah,
what I mean. Like
having
that
fun, high
that
five and
determines.
everything.
Yeah, that determines it for
Yeah,
me. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. I'm looking forward to riding Rampfest. To be honest, I haven't been there since
oh
the
cool.
bowl was put in.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I'd been
Oh
there a
man,
few times
that was a
beforehand.
story. That
Yeah.
was, dude, that was mental. That was
Oh
insane.
yeah.
That was yeah, that was a Jason Watts special. Like
Yeah.
we planned that out. It's like everything you build. We thought we planned it out so well. Like yeah, we'll get this done in 5 days. No,
Holy
didn't.
shit! In 5 days, he was thinking about how he could get it done.
Well, we probably got about 75% of it done in 5 days. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah. I mean, say 5 days. Like we were starting at 7 and finishing it after midnight, like every
Holy
day for
shit!
five
Yeah.
days.
Right.
Like the last night, like because we were trying to open for the Saturday morning, because as you know, run a business, like it's hard to be closed for a long period of time because
Oh
like you
yeah.
still got to pay bills. It's like we need to be open so we can actually bring people in the door. And so we wanted to be open for the weekend, and we just worked all through the night. Like there were so many people just pitching in and helping out, and just volunteers, just everyone, just
Wow.
yeah. And we worked all the way through the night. And I remember sweeping the park out, like sweeping the sawdust, and like mopping the sawdust at like 8 a.m. in the morning after I'd been there from 7 a.m. the night before, just like in this delirious state of like Red Bull induced,
Oh my
crazy.
god,
Yes. And
dude! Did you get it done?
yeah,
You opened?
yeah, we got it open. Yeah, we got it there.
Far out.
Actually, yeah, I even jumped the new line before we opened because we were sitting there at like it's like 8:30. We're opening. It's like it's ready. We're good to go. And someone's like, oh, no one's ridden it yet. Like the first person who rides this is just going to be like the 9 a.m. like kids who come in and ride scooters or whatever. It's like,
Mm.
damn, like can't have that. So got the bikes out and we had to ride it like 20, been awake for 25 hours or something. So
Holy shit!
yeah, I'm amazed I didn't actually kill myself trying to jump.
Yeah, yeah, man,
Yeah,
that's gnarly.
it was fun. It was real
That's
good fun.
sick. Yeah, that's really sick. Yeah, man. Well, I'm looking forward to coming down. There's definitely some Canberra and BMXs that are coming down for the nationals, so
Okay.
it'll be cool to see who shows up. And I guess we should maybe just finish off on some of the hyping people
Yeah,
up on what you do, and yeah, I guess Rampfest and whatever else you want to say. Finish it off,
yeah.
man.
Man, I don't know. be stoked if more people come down to the nationals at the moment. That's sort of
Yeah,
one
cool.
big thing right now, and
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be sick to get like an awesome BMX crowd down there from all walks of the sport. Like even, I said people who don't want to compete come down, watch, high five, have a beer, um, join
Yeah.
the jam on Saturday night. Just have a shred there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
have
No,
a
that
have a good
sounds,
bit of fun. So
yeah, sick, man.
it's
That
sort of
sounds,
like I remember some of the original like BMX games contests, like when they were in Sydney and
yeah.
even they were in Melbourne, and then obviously in Canberra, like
The
sort of trying
Canberra
to
one was like, the jumps were cool, but
the jumps are sick. Yeah, yeah. Who built them? Who was that?
it was actually us. Like we
Yeah,
built them, but it was kind of like that was a rough slog, I reckon, getting those done
yeah.
in
That
that
was
amount of time. But you're exactly like if you like people are probably too. There's not a lot of people that maybe went to the original BMX games in Sydney, but they were a
unreal.
party, man. They were
They were so
insane,
good. Yeah,
and same goes with the Melbourne one. It was such a place where all the BMXs were going, but yet it
yeah,
was the biggest contest of the country.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Tell you what I
um,
learned out of that Melbourne one, and it was 2009. Is
yeah.
no official after parties.
Oh,
No official
really?
parties. I'm not putting my name on any after party. I'm
Oh, really?
not making an official after party ever again. That Melbourne one got wild. And,
Did it? Oh man,
yeah,
maybe I was too drunk to remember. I
dude,
remember it
yeah,
was pretty wild. I remember it was a pretty flash spot.
it was pretty cool. It was like right on the
Yeah,
water.
that's right. It was right on the water. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
The jumps there were chaos because it was so windy. I remember that.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
yeah.
one of the sick things about like after running events like outdoors. I know you just did this like movement stuff, like running events in Rampfest because I own the venue. Oh my god, so much easier.
Oh
It's so much
yeah,
easier. It's like I don't have to check with the venue on anything. Like, all right, that's me. We want to change that. We just do it. Like we don't.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
makes life a
It's
lot easier for
far
sure.
out, man. It's we've been we've been so lucky with like the last what 8 act jams or whatever that we've run prior to this one. It's never rained. Like we've been so
Yeah,
lucky with it,
yeah.
and then like it's so crazy when you've got people like, what do you like? Is it going to be raining? I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
I don't
like,
know. What do I know? Yeah, it's like
like I'm
What do I
hoping
do?
not.
Yeah.
We got a whole thing to run. So yeah, that's
And
pretty
years
funny.
ago, we had a King of Dirt event that was like typical Queensland, right? Like it literally flooded. Like I went to the jumps the day of the contest and basically got there in the morning. It's like, yeah, it's off because I couldn't even get to the jumps because there was that much water. Like it just looked like these two mounds of dirt in a lake.
Holy shit,
It's insane. It's like,
far out.
right, that's the end of that. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, man, these things happen. But
Yeah, on that, man, I've got to wrap it up. But yeah, if
yeah,
you're
for sure.
listening, come down to the Nationals, have a bit of fun. It'll be a sick time, and yeah,
Yeah. Looking forward to sharing a beer with you, man.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a good weekend. So
Hell yeah. All right, dude. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening,
too easy.
everyone.
Thank you very
Make
much.
sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Be sick to see you at Nationals. Awesome.
Cool. Thanks,
Cheers,
guys.
crew. Bye.
Bye.